Hey guys, welcome to Watch Rob. I'm Robbie here talking to you about watch reviews. Today we're going to be talking about my Rolex Datejust 16030. So this is going to be my little bit more in-depth review. My first video was just a test to see how well the webcam performed as well as a couple other things. So basically let's get right into it. The first thing is my wrist check. So what I'm wearing today is actually that exact same Datejust I'm going to talk to you about. This is the 16030 from 1987 with a silver linen dial and engine turn bezel. And this is the full steel model where a lot of Datejusts you'll see white gold or yellow gold, two-tone, things like that, and they typically have a normal fluted bezel and not the engine turning, but this one's pretty unique, so let's get into it. Had it for 1 month so far and I've absolutely loved it. It's very comfortable and I feel like it fits any situation. I'm wearing it right now with just a polo shirt and some blue jeans, and I wore it out this weekend like that and did not feel out of place whatsoever. It's also at home under a tuxedo or a shirt cuff or a suit because it's a Rolex. So, and not just any Rolex, it's also a Datejust, which is one of their dressier watches because it has the high mirror polish. It has this Jubilee bracelet, which is also very comfortable, and even the clasp. If you're sitting at work at a desk and turn it over, even the clasp on this is highly polished, and you'll notice even from a distance that nice crown that's imprinted on here. Once I can get my webcam to focus, that is. There we go. Just had to get in front of my face. So basically, this is really unique. I've been loving it. It is, like I said, a Datejust. Part of the reason I was turned on by that is that as far as Rolex history goes, the Datejust has some of the best history out of any of their watches. It started in the mid 40s and was one of the first watches to use the oyster case, which was created by Hans Wilsdorf, the founder of Rolex. What's unique about the oyster case is that it was the first of its kind, and the mechanism of how it seals in air and dirt, moisture, water, things like that was pretty revolutionary back in the 30s and 40s when he was developing this. Also, you get the first date Cyclops, as far as I can remember, and also the first Rolex that used precious materials like gold and solid gold and things like that. So enough of the history lesson. I'll move on to what it means today. So the timekeeping on this watch has been superb. Um, I got really lucky and found this on eBay, which is considered the gray market. I found it just after the new year. It had been serviced at the Rolex factory in America in December, right before 2017 started. And with this full service, it was given brand new crystal from the factory, and it's an acrylic crystal since it's a 16030 and not the 16233 where they switched to a sapphire crystal as well as a new movement. And so along with the new crystal, it also received new hands and a new crown and tube, which we can see here once it focuses. Perfect. And that's very beautiful high polish, just like on the edges of these lugs here. And speaking of lugs, it has the lug holes drilled in because it is an 80s model, not like the more recent ones, which do not have that. So moving on, as far as the timekeeping, after about a week, I'll set it to my iPhone and it will keep about positive 5 to 10 seconds after 7 days, a full week, which about every day comes to about plus 2 seconds per day. And that is still within the COSC certified standards for timekeeping for an automatic watch. And I still think it's pretty amazing because this watch is just turned 30 years old. It's older than I am, and it's keeping almost as good a time as my iPhone that I have right here. So another thing about the accuracy of this is Rolex makes their Superlative Chronometers, which is as good and usually supposed to be touted as being better than the COSC standards. And maybe another video I'll get into what Superlative Chronometer actually means, but today just know that it means higher accuracy than the COSC standards. So what gives it that accuracy is the movement in this watch, which is the Rolex in-house movement 3035 movement. It is a very solid movement. It's not quite as popular as the 3135, which is still used today, and for a long time was used in Submariners and Datejust, starting with the 16-33 model, which I talked about earlier with the sapphire crystal. Now, I was planning on actually getting a 16233, but it just was not quite in my budget. But if it had been, and I hadn't found such a great deal with this guy right here, it, in my opinion, as far as a used watch, a used Rolex Datejust, is the best value for your money because you're getting the first iteration of the 3135 in-house movement, which is so popular and reliable. It had been used for basically 2 decades and is still in use, a little bit modified. You're also getting a sapphire crystal, which is a lot more scratch resistant than the acrylic that I have, which means you're going to be replacing it a lot less often. And the other thing too is they just had a lot more dial combinations with that watch, and just gorgeous altogether, whether you get two-tone or steel or any of that. So the next thing is that with this model, the 16030 with the engine turn bezel, there's a lot of questions people get with it. They say, oh, is that, two-tone white gold like the newer models, where because it's a Rolex, they assume it has to be a precious metal. But from the research I've done, this is actually just a full steel model. Even though the high polish areas make it look like it might be white gold, and the newer ones have a full fluted bezel that's made of white gold that's very polished, this is actually all steel. And at first I was a little worried about that. I thought, oh, well, if I'm going to spend the money, I'd like to have a precious metal. But after doing more research on the Rolex forums and other places like that, it turns out that the market value for this watch has actually gone up more and is projected to increase more in the future for the all steel models. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but my theory is because the two-tone Datejust in the 80s were so popular that it was the most produced model. And so these all steel models were a lot more rare, especially ones that were sold to somebody and they took good care of it, etc. An example of the popularity is the movie American Psycho with Christian Bale, who played Batman later on. He is seen wearing a 16013, which is different than this model here, but it's still that really popular two-tone gold Datejust steel and gold with the gold dial, which is just so beautiful. And I think that's why the steel will go up. Right now, the market value on this is just over $3,000 in the gray market. And if you went to a really good trusted authorized dealer who resales used Rolexes, that means it would be coming with authenticity, and it would also be coming with a full service, more than likely, and cleaning from their watchmaker. If you found it at an authorized retailer or reseller, it would probably go closer to $4,000 for this piece. So like I said, on eBay, I found a really great price on it and never looked back. Real quick here, I'm going to wrap it up. The last thing I didn't mention is the bracelet. So these Jubilee bracelets, whether you have all steel or gold, they're very beautiful to wear, and they're also super comfortable. Out of all the metal dress watches, sport watches, anything like that, this has easily been the most comfortable one I've ever worn. It is multiple parts to each link in the bracelet horizontally going across. And that makes it more comfortable because it almost hugs your wrist compared to the big chunky links that you would see with the Oyster bracelet on something like a Submariner or an Explorer 1 and 2. And so overall, very comfortable. The clasp on this has very nice action, and it closes with a very nice loud audible click. And that snap is what I'm talking about right there. And that makes a world of a difference. It feels secure, does not feel like it's going to come off no matter how much you move your wrist, driving, going out to the pool, anything you're doing. And like I said earlier, the style is just great that you can wear it. I like the steel and silver dial. It's very subdued, but still with the high polish has nice flash to it. And because of those colors, I can wear this with any color in my wardrobe. I can wear a black shirt, white shirt, blue, red, anything. And I can even wear a tuxedo, wear it to a wedding, similar to something like James Bond would do. If you guys don't know yet, I'm a huge James Bond geek, as well as Star Wars. So to me, it's important to have something versatile like that. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. This has been one of my first videos ever. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to keep coming back with great reviews and interesting watch topics that you guys want to hear about. So if you liked it, please press the like button, hit subscribe for more videos in the near future. I'm going to do one a week. And also follow me on Instagram at WatchRob, all one word. The Instagram has been up a lot longer than YouTube, and it has a lot of great photos of all the different watches I've been collecting. So please go check it out. Thank you.